Hello everybody, this is Toysareruss, and for this new figure showcase and review we're going to be looking at the Magic Square B53 Night Tracer figure. So what we're going to do with this video, we're going to have a detailed look at him in both of his modes to help you decide how you want to display him. We're going to have a look at the accessories that come with him to help you know if yours is complete. We're going to do some comparisons with him, his original Generation 1 figure, and indeed the Combiner Wars version of himself, and then we can see how he looks and fares with other figures in the same toy line and indeed other legend scale figures as well. So quite a bit to get through with this video. So as I start to pop all these away, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to this channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now please, and also to thank showz stores because that's where these were purchased from, and as you can see they got him to me nice quickly and safely. So before we get started, for those of you who are unfamiliar with these particular ranges of figures, this is Magic Square. Now this is another company, it's what's known as a third-party company. And what that basically means is, unlike 3-0 and YOLO Park and things like that, these aren't actually licensed by Hasbro or Takara, but what they do is they make versions of our favourite characters, and because they're not officially licensed, they can't call them by their proper names, hence him being called Night Tracer and not Onslaught. Even though the box, again, is a brilliant homage to Generation 1, with him being a Decepticon, you've got the purple, and then of course the sunburst with the grid on the back as well. They even go so far as to have a tech spec for him as well, and then on the back we've got a picture of him with Brawl, because they've already released their versions of Brawl and Swindle, which funnily enough will be in another video which I'll explain in a second. So yeah, this video is just going to focus on Night Tracer. When we've got all 5 members, I'm going to do a combining video, so for now we're just going to look at these 2 modes here. Before we get any further, let's have a quick look at the rest of the content. So he does come with the chest plate, which you can see is lovely. This is, yeah, it is a solid plastic. Then we've got the 2 leg connectors, of course, one for Brawl and one for Swindle. And again, we'll show you how that all works when we've got the rest of the figures. It comes with a little collector's card, which is a good little homage to Takara. And again, that's got all the details on the back, and unfortunately, as most people will relate to, some instructions, but they are pretty much useless. They're so complicated, and a very small gun. Right, there we go, there's his gun. So let's start off with looking at the robot mode. Now the robot mode is beautiful. These figures are what's known, or as they're dubbed as, mini masterpiece figures. Now that's because you'll pay a high premium for these. These are, you know, the price of at least 2 deluxes in the Hasbro mainline, but it's sort of a get what you pay for thing. Because they're so expensive, you get lovely, I mean, look at the detail on this, and I think the biggest thing in it is the articulation. So we've got the head, which again looks lovely. You can see it's on a mushroom peg or a ball and socket, so you've got full range of motion, looking up and down as well. Same as the shoulders, this will go all the way around. There's a swivel underneath the shoulder, there's a bicep swivel, there's a bicep flexion, there's a wrist swivel. There's, not only is there a waist swivel, there's an ab crunch as well, which is great. There's full range of motion in the legs, full kick out, full kick back, knee bend, ankle tilt and rock. So again, lovely range of motion. Great detail on it. If you're wondering, it is all plastic. There's no metal apart from the screws and the pins and the hinges, so there's no actual die cast parts on here. But again, this is what separates these figures from some of, I suppose, the mainline figures. But again, due to the price, there's no gaps. Everything is covered up. Everything has, you know, been hidden away really quite well, in honesty. We've got some faux wheels there on the front, and the other ones you can see as they're supposed to be on the figure, but other things are tucked away really quite well. He does have this little blaster which we can put in his hand, which is tiny compared to the Generation 1, the gun that came with Onslaught himself. There's not really much more to say about the robot mode, but for those of you who are wondering, let's bring in some figures. So as I say, for people who only collect Hasbro mainline, we've got a Devcon and an Orion pack. So this is one of the more, well, this is one of the larger, to be honest, legend scale figures, and that's obviously because he's a combiner leader. And what I mean by that is, I'll show you another standard figure in a second. So there's some deluxe ones. If I was to bring in a Voyager, you can see he's a lot smaller than a Voyager, so he's nowhere near a Voyager. He's just quite a bit bigger than a core class and a bit smaller than the deluxe. But as I say, that's because this is a leader, and what I mean by that is this is Magic Square's Trailbreaker, so this is a normal figure, which you can see who's much smaller. And what they tend to do, or what they aim to do, shall we say, with these companies is scale everything exactly as they should be, pretty much like what Hasbro's doing now as well, to be honest. If I move him out of the way, and if I was to bring in New Age's version of Optimus Prime, they call him David. He's a bit bigger than him, and indeed New Age's Megatron. I've always got these ones at hand, so that's why I do all the comparisons with them. You can see again that he's bigger than all of them, which is pretty cool, to be fair, because I've knocked him over, but because he's a combiner leader and because of his alternate mode, you would expect him to be that big. There is the original G1 version, which again towers over him. I'm just trying to see if I've got any other G1 figures knocking around that you can see him compared with. That was Masterpiece Red Heat, sorry, Red Alerts, just in case anybody asks. So I might as well pick him up and do a comparison with him, being as I've just knocked him over, so he's nowhere near a Masterpiece figure size, but as you can see by what I've shown you, he's got the same level of articulation as this person. Right, there you are. He gate crushed the video. Let's move him out of the way. Let's move him. In fact, no, while they're there, let's bring the Combiner Wars one in, which, if we're being honest, perhaps wasn't the greatest version of Onslaught. But he's massive. And again, I'm not going to be bringing in Bruticus until we've got all of the Magic Square components to do all of the proper comparisons. So let's move him back here. Now, the other thing as well, and I'm pretty sure a fan will probably find a mode or make one, shall we say. I've only got in the instructions and only seen so far. Let me bring the original in. There's the original's alternate mode, which is so much bigger. It's huge. You can pretty much fit the Magic Square one on the back. But what I was going to say, and in fact what I am saying, is obviously with the Generation 1, they had a base mode as well. Now, I don't even know if you can see this. Let me see if I can bring it in. But obviously with the base mode and with Onslaught himself, he came with a ramp. So they definitely can't replicate this because we don't have a ramp with Night Tracer. So there probably won't be, well, there's definitely not going to be an official base mode, but I'm sure some fans out there will be able to make one. Now, the alternate mode is really clever, to be honest. You can see everything's pretty much tucked away. Yes, we've got visible head, but that's only because we're turning it completely upside down. All of the wheels, even, let's have a look at the wheels on the side. See, you can only see 4 there. But then there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So they've done a real good job of hiding and tucking all them away, and that's what makes them really clever. This does pivot around as well. Of course, the turret's on the top, and to be honest, you can't, oh no, not like this, it's part of the transformation process. You can move this between forwards and back, but that is only for transformation. The windows are painted on, and the grille is just molded, so there's no other extra detail on here. And again, you can carry one of the Combaticons on there. On the picture, you've got him carrying Brawl. Once again, I'll be saving that for another video. But again, you've seen how small he is compared to the original. And again, he's just living up to his Legends scale size moniker, to be honest. Right, because they're already transformed, I'm obviously not going to show you the transformation process on this video. However, I do intend to upload a tutorial to help you because, again, these are very, very difficult. But in the meantime, as far as the review goes, great figure. Really excited to complete the set of these. And again, they look really good for what you're getting. These are available at showz store. There is a direct link in the description. Don't forget to use my code Toysareruss, all one word, in the supporter reviewer. Please let me know what you think of him in the comments if you're collecting these, or maybe, as somebody's already commented, the fact that I'm doing these videos is twisting their arm into maybe purchasing them for themselves as well. Let me know in the comments, guys. Take care.